Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is August 25th, 2021, and this is episode 400, my milestone episode, and it's coming to you from California. I do not have my tripod with me, obviously. I'm going to be doing this handheld. But today's comic is Serial, and this is appropriate one for number 400 is just I really am enjoying this one. It comes in at $3.99. It is number 6 in the series, and it comes out from Abstract Studios. The first 5 are going to be made into a trade, and that might be the best way to jump onto this. And here's a little trick for you guys if you don't know. The serial, if you see serial in red, that means it's a first printing. All printings after that are in black. So the ones in red might be worth a little bit more if you are into such things. There's your little hint for the day. On the cover here, we see our perennial 10-year-old Zoey. She was possessed by the devil at 10 years old. She died and then was resurrected without the devil in her. However, she has quite the she has no qualms of knocking somebody off still. And she's actually aged maturity-wise. She's 30, like would be 32 maybe, but she's got the look of a 10-year-old, and she could do all the things that a 32-year-old can do. And this cover, it doesn't actually happen in this book. However, it's a pretty cool looking cover, and it kind of shows you that Zoe is willing to do anything with the axe here and the meat hook. She is that serious about stuff. Okay, so this is by Terry Moore. He wrote, drew, inked, and did the lettering as well. So he does all of those things on his books, which is pretty incredible. All right, as always, when we open up a Terry Moore floppy, we get an insert from one of the interior art panels. Hope this is picking up okay. With a quote that is not in the book, but has something relevant to do with the story. And here, this one is "Ring Around the Rosies." That one is part of a Black Death poet, and there's a lot of death in this one for it having a 10-year-old kid in it. So we start off with this fantastic, kind of very cinematic panning in of the drawings sequentially, and we go inside a apartment garage, or garage apartment, I should say, and as we look through the window, we see a body laying there, and it's of a woman. And obviously, as things have happened, there's some golf clubs knocked over there. So we do a close-up, a zoom in on this woman as she wakes up and realizes things aren't all what they should be. She's been knocked out. She's been wounded as well. You can see like the ceiling fan must have had something to do with what went on here. There's a broken golf club, and then she notices there's actually another body on the bed that is out cold, and maybe more than that, just cold. Period. So I think I skipped a page here. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. So much to her chagrin, things are kind of messed up. This isn't the way she anticipated. And I just might mention that this woman here is actually a serial killer who's going after predators, and when she finds them, she kind of tricks them into going with her, and then she offs them. In this case, you see he's holding a wig in his hand, and that's because our serial killer likes to disguise as a sexy young thing and then go out and trap her men. So she pulls her senses together. She knows she has a gash on her head. She gets the wig. She grabs the bloody golf club, and then gathers up a few other items before going into the bathroom to patch herself up, I believe, and also to douse the corpse with aftershave, which has alcohol in it, if you don't know that, and then stick an aerosol can in the corpse's mouth. Then she lights the alcohol on fire and leaves with the items that she has stowed away. And as she leaves, the apartment explodes, and looking out the window next door is Joey, who happens to be a deaf mute young girl. And she watches the whole thing. She goes over. Her mother's calling 911 because she heard the explosion. Um, and the husband goes running out to see if he can help. He can't get through up the stairs though because the flames are too much at that point. And our Joey does a little artwork here, and she draws the murderer as an avenging angel here. So there's something up. There's some kind of something going on with the person that has been killed. Now we cut back to Zoey, and she's up on the cliff of the first reported death. The guy was pushed off the cliff, and she's going over all the facts of all the deaths and who could possibly be killing these people. Because not only did the first guy get pushed off the cliff, but his wife had her throat slit by the murderer as well back at home while Zoey was actually in the house. So she's trying to figure it all out, and then she comes up with a theory, and a pretty good theory actually, and she's going to follow up with it. And what she sees is, when she does a little bit of research, is she sees one of the cars parked out in front of the place, and that car is the same one that was caught on a surveillance camera. So she calls to her dog. They go off in the van. Let's go. Meanwhile, we go see Joey. This is probably a day or so later at the therapist. She goes sees a therapist, and the therapist just says, what's going on? You feel better? She says she feels free, using her sign language technique. And then I guess they go a little bit into it a little bit more. The therapist calls the mother in and tells her that your brother, who was the one that was in the apartment that got killed, apparently was doing some unsavory things, and you might want to notify some other people because I have to notify the police. And she gets real mad and pulls the kid away and storms off. Meanwhile, we see Joey going up to the receptionist. Well, she hasn't stormed off yet. And she gets the receptionist's attention, hands her a picture, and what we realize at this point is this receptionist is actually the serial killer. She sees the drawing of her, and she says, "You saw me," and then she mentions that she saved her. So apparently our serial killer can do sign language as well. And here we see the mother coming out after finding out what had happened. She grabs her daughter Joey, pulls her off, and tells the therapist, my brother's dead, how dare you, and all this such. Whereas our killer, I still don't know what her name is, but she's got the drawing, and she'll probably go destroy it. And that's where we end our thing. So there's been a revelation of where the serial killer is getting her information on who the next target is. She's actually handling the files for the therapist, and I guess the therapist works with people that have been sexually harassed or abused, and come in for help at the clinic. So there we go. Here's the cover for the next one. Shows Zoey kind of running off, or not sure what's going on. She's got some papers dropping. But I'll be there. Like I said, the trade for this is coming out soon for the first 5 issues, so you can jump on there. This is a total recommend, by the way, if I haven't mentioned it already. I love this book. Okay, let's take a look at some other stuff that we have with Terry Moore. That is available as Strangers in Paradise 25. Kachu returns. So looks a little strange. Everybody's kind of masked up. This one's more of I think a supernatural mystery. I haven't read it though, so I can't tell you any more than that. And then we'll go to the back here. Take a look at some other ones here. We have Ever. This came out, I think, 2019. It was a graphic novel. It did not come out in floppies. A new 72 page graphic novel from the creators of Strangers in Paradise. And Ever is the name of this woman who seems to have some kind of biblical ties, let's just say. It's kind of interesting, very supernatural, kind of low key though as well. Very creepy at the beginning, and then it gets more spiritual towards the end. We have The Motor Girl Omnibus. This was 10 issues. This was a good story. It's just a fun story. Pretty interesting. About a former Army vet that has PSD, and she has an imaginary gorilla friend. So a lot of fun with that one. Then we do have the Strangers in Paradise, the original series, in a 6-issue or 6-volume set here. I think it's also available in a 2-volume, huge volume set, but don't quote me on that. And those were done, I believe, in the early 2000s. Then we have Terry Moore, Echo. This was great. It's a good story. The complete edition. You can buy the whole omnibus for that. And Terry Moore's Rachel Rising. This is the one that got me onto Terry Moore. This was probably 2012 to 15, something around there. I believe it's like 7 trades put into one omnibus. The complete story. This is a kind of a witches story, witches battling witches, and it's pretty bloody. Also introduces our main character, or one of our characters for Serial, who is Zoey, and gives her story. So, all in all, good stuff. And finally, if you're into the way Terry Moore draws, which I am, there's Terry Moore's How to Draw Expanded Edition, which came out, I think, in like April. I picked up the hardcover. I think that was a limited run on the hardcover, however, but you can get the softcover, and just really good stuff in there. Really, really, really good art book to have in your collection. So there you have it. I don't have my, I'm traveling, so I don't have my Indie Comics Jones Good Excavating seal of approval, but this would definitely get it. If I did, I'd just step it right about here, probably. Okay, so thanks for stopping by and listening to this review. As always, please like, please subscribe, and leave comments if you wish. And we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. I probably will do a couple more on this trip, and then I'll be back maybe next Wednesday with a few more. So take care. Come on back. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.